Hello, fabulous Pisces. Welcome to your horoscope for the month of November 2014, General Focus. I am your astrologer, Nadiya Shah. Thank you for being here. This month, I do think by far the most important occurrence that is going to take place for you in the sky has to do with the fact that Neptune and Chiron will stand still in the sky after being retrograde for the last few months and then go direct. Then we'll begin to move forward. When a planet changes direction, effectively standing still and then either going backwards in retrograde or in this case moving forward, it tends to represent a heightening of what the lessons of that planet is for this particular point in your life. You add to this, these placements are in your sign, and it tends to represent truly sweeping new understandings that have a profound effect. I am going to talk more about this in the love-focused horoscope. However, in the context of you and how you're understanding yourself, I was reminded as I looked at this of this whole idea of compassion, right? Compassion is awesome. And that's one thing that you're meant to sort of tap into and develop more fully. What is compassion? What's healthy compassion? How to be more compassionate in a way that isn't martyrizing, if you will, that isn't so self-sacrificing that you lose yourself. These are part of the spiritual lessons for you over the course of this lifetime. But I was thinking also of how sometimes, because of compassion, we might not see ourselves accurately. We might not see ourselves for who it is that we are based on our actions and our achievements. Instead, we start to see ourselves in ways that ultimately are awesome when they're all-encompassing, but that can mean that we sometimes expose ourselves to situations or people who maybe are not very good for us. I do think that that's going to be one of the themes that plays out for you this month in some key ways, and likely in some ways that seem to come out of nowhere. But this is a reality check that you need, and it is going to be facilitated by other people, certainly. It is going to be facilitated by you understanding the dynamics that surround you in your social situations, and all of this in turn is going to help you see yourself, where it is that you've been kidding yourself, deluding yourself, and where it is that you need to see yourself in a more elevated way. Where it is that you're now ready to live from a place of, instead of coming at the world from your wounds and seeing yourself for those wounds, seeing yourself for the person that you've become as a result of healing and as a result of growing and as a result of defining yourself. What we have happening this month is a full moon taking place in the first part of the month, and this full moon is happening in a very social part of the sky, and this part of the sky has to do with neighbors. It has to do with random interactions as you walk around your neighborhood as well. It has to do with cousins and siblings as well, so people who are like equal to you within the family dynamic. So these types of relationships are highlighted under this, and also conversations in general. Conversations, communications are highlighted under this particular full moon. Now, this particular full moon is speaking in supreme harmony with Pluto and Mars. And Pluto and Mars right now are in a part of the sky for you that has to do with friendships. It's also a very social part of the sky for you. It has to do with friendships. It has to do with social events as well, groups you belong to, memberships you belong to as well. Now, these placements, Mars and Pluto, speaking in supreme harmony with this particular full moon, does suggest to me, and all this happening under the sky of Neptune and Chiron in prime heightened energy, right? Their lessons this month are going to be the prime lessons for you. What it is that Neptune is trying to teach you over the course of this decade, what it is that Chiron's trying to teach you over the course of this decade, those lessons are going to become abundantly clear, and they are likely to become clear thanks to this heightened time of this full moon, speaking with a configuration that's all about self-honesty, that's all about transformation, and that's all about rebirth as well. So sometimes, like these outer planets, in Chiron's case asteroid, They have their movements, they do their things. However, we often need the moon to sort of kick in some major celestial event like a full moon will do, and especially a full moon speaking in supreme harmony with Mars and Pluto. We often need something like this to bring these outer energies, if you will, to our fuller awareness, to feel and to appreciate more fully the larger lessons that the universe has on offer for us. And so I do think that there's an element here of you turning on the lights, of you letting go of a delusion, of you acknowledging where you've been kidding yourself, especially where it comes to how you define yourself. And a lot of that is going to be facilitated by other people, as I said. And there's a certain randomness to this energy as well. And that's mainly because of the full moon. And I do think that it is going to be around the time of the full moon. And I see this happening for a lot of Pisceans out there, that the likelihood of it being a moment, of having a very stark moment where you're like, oh my God, I've been totally kidding myself about who I am. Oh my God, is this who I am? Looking at another person, seeing how they are, and seeing a reflection of yourself and realizing that that's not who you are. That's not who you understand yourself to be, and that these are no longer your people. That's going to be a part of the theme as well. Now, it needn't be so, it may be, for some out there, it may be a very profound moment that changes many things dramatically, but it needn't be. And I think for a lot of people out there, and especially because it's a full moon, now full moons tend to lead us to accept and acknowledge what it is that's kind of been there all along, what's been building for a while, what's been staring us in the face. It allows certain appreciations and lessons to come to fruition, to reach a natural conclusion. That's what I actually see happening for you, and it feels right. It isn't that I'm seeing you say, okay, I am done with those people, I'm closing that door, never again, I'm ripping up the phone book. I don't even think people have phone books anymore, but anyways. I don't see that necessarily, but more I see, you know what, I think I need a little space. You know what, I think I'm going in another direction now. You know, thanks a lot. That alliance helped me a lot for a certain time, but I think I'm moving on. I think I've grown, and now I'm ready to explore some new lessons with some new people. The chance of some of this being facilitated by a cousin or sibling is there, and you can't necessarily say, okay, I'm moving on from you, because those are family alliances. However, it may very well be a cousin or a sibling that in some way allows you, as a sounding board for you, and allows you to see that you're actually very different than you knew yourself to be before, and that your relations with the people around you must naturally change based on who you now know yourself to be. One thing is for sure though, there is a lot of appreciation of who you are and who you are not that is happening for you now. And this could shift you right on the level of identity, where finally, after feeling a little confused, feeling a little lost, feeling a little uncertain, the clarity returns, your sense of direction returns, and you get it, the proverbial it, where you understand, okay, I know who I am and I know where I'm going. I know what it is that I'm meant to be at this point in my life. And you're going to find that that person is defined exactly as you choose to define yourself. And I think you will also find that if you choose to define yourself in the most empowering terms, well, that's very well what you will live up to as well.